Welcome back to the I Am More Than podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Wessel. I'm a former Miss Arizona USA professional model and founder of More Than Inc. This week's episode is going to be a solo. It's been a few months since I've done one of these, and since this week is my birthday, I wanted to let you guys in on all of the lessons I learned throughout this year. It was the most transformative year of my life, so I'm really excited to share. But before we dive in, I have a gift for all of you listeners. We've partnered with Equilibria to give away a curated box filled with all of my favorite CBD goodies. You all know by now how much I love Equilibria. Their CBD is made by women for women, and I've noticed a significant decrease in my anxiety and stomach pain since I began using their products. This Thursday, September 10th, we're going to be doing our giveaway on Instagram, so make sure you guys check out our Instagram for more details. Now let's dive into the episode. Hey beauties, I hope everybody is doing well. I'm so appreciative that you would take some time to check out this solo episode. I'm really excited to give it to you guys and just share everything that I've learned throughout this year. I feel like it has been such an eye-opening year for me, and I can't believe that on September 10th, I'm going to be 27 years old. I feel like the last 7 years of my life have both flown by and dragged on forever. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but I feel like this last year in particular, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about just growing up, honestly. And it's a lot of these things that I wish I would have known when I was 21, 22, so that I could have made some other decisions along the way. But now that I do have this knowledge, I want to share it with all of you. Hopefully you can relate to some of this, apply some of these maybe tips into your life. And if you are younger listening to this, just know that everything is going to be okay. I feel like I had such an exact idea of what my life was going to look like when I was 27 years old. And I am proud to say it is nothing like I planned. And it's so much better. You know, I feel like everyone has these really strict timelines on you about what you're supposed to accomplish at a certain age. I had those strict timelines on myself for a long time. And it's been very freeing to let go of that and just see what happens in life. But let's rewind to 26-year-old Jordan, which is only a year ago. And I remember feeling like I had everything that I was working so hard for. I was finally modeling full time. I had a beautiful apartment, a wonderful boyfriend, a cute as heck puppy, and everything that I wanted, I could check off. And for some reason, I was feeling really down. I've had these feelings that I just couldn't shake about all of the trauma that I had experienced in my early 20s. And there's a lot that I have shared with you guys, and there's still a lot that I will be sharing the more comfortable I get with it. But I feel like I was kind of on autopilot for a while in my early 20s. And once I finally got to 26 and kind of woke up and was like, what am I doing? What happened that made me feel this way? And I remember talking with one of my girlfriends and just saying, I just don't feel okay. She goes, it's okay not to be okay as long as you're willing to do something about it. And I decided to take the first step and do something I hadn't done since I was a kid and sign up for therapy. And I am so happy to tell you guys that therapy changed my life. It completely transformed the way I view myself, the way I view circumstances that I've been through, and the way I view my future. And I feel like so many of us walk around with this anxiety, walk around with these burdens that were put on us maybe from past situations or just anxieties about the future, and we just assume it has to be that way. At least that's how I felt walking into therapy. I was like, I don't know why I feel this way, but I can't imagine a life where I didn't. And throughout the process of just letting go and opening up and figuring out who I really am when I strip everything away is when my eyes felt like they just opened up for the first time in years. So that's why I'm such a proponent for mental health. I think it's so important for us to continue talking about mental health because so many of us have struggled in silence for years and are continuing to struggle in silence. There's such a preconceived notion or judgment on people that are struggling with mental illness. And I think that, yes, there are a very wide range of mental illness conditions that people are struggling with, but almost everybody I know struggles with anxiety or depression. That is a mental illness, and it's something that we can take control of if we take the proper precautions. So if you're somebody that is feeling like you really need to get control of your mental health, it is okay not to be okay, just as long as you want to do something about it. I think self-awareness is highly underrated. And that's something that therapy brought me, was really just trying to understand myself, why I react to things the way I do, why I plan out my life the way I do. And also helped me realize that I am a perfectionist, which that's lesson number 2 through all of this, is that perfectionism does so much more harm than good. It has benefited me in so many areas of my life in the last 8 years, but it's also harmed me a lot because I've held myself back in fear of not being perfect. And once I finally realized that what is perfection anyways, because my idea of perfect is different than your idea of perfect, and so on and so forth. So once I was finally able to let go of that perfectionism hold that I had on myself, once I was able to let go of that perfectionism, I was able to let myself just live, go for the jobs that I didn't think that I would get, start a company, be less hard and less critical on myself because I was just showing up. And I think that's such a freeing realization, is that you just showing up as your best is good enough. And that's something that I think so many women in particular do need to hear. Because just as you are right now, you are wonderfully and perfectly and beautifully created. It's okay to want to be better. We can always get better. But it's so important for you to acknowledge where you are right now and be okay with it and learn how to love yourself. I think that self-love is trending in 2020. Which I'm here for, but I also think it sometimes gets a negative connotation behind it. And I think it's just really important for you to be able to sit with yourself and learn how to love yourself as you are, and realize that just because you love yourself doesn't mean that your growth stops. It actually allows you to grow that much further because you're growing because you love yourself. So self-love is something that I learned a whole new definition of in this last year. Another very valuable lesson that I learned in this last year is that it's okay to speak up for yourself. For so long in my life, I've been a people pleaser, and I haven't wanted to say the wrong thing to offend somebody, so instead I've made myself uncomfortable to make others comfortable. And this year, I can credit it to also kind of becoming a New Yorker. I learned that when something doesn't sit well with you, it's okay to talk about it. I had a very specific experience through modeling in this last year where I was at a job that made me so uncomfortable to my core. And I had a decision to make, whether it was losing out on this money and losing this client, or continuing to show up at this client a couple times a week and sacrificing my comfort so that I could make money. And it was a very defining moment in this year where I decided no amount of money in this world is worth sacrificing your comfort. If something doesn't feel right, it's okay to speak up. And once I did speak up, I received a lot of backlash, and it was very frustrating to me that by speaking up, somehow I was told that I was inconveniencing other people, that I was making other people uncomfortable. And it was a light bulb moment for me that I said, you know what? If I'm making them uncomfortable, then this isn't the type of client I want to be working for anyways. And it was so freeing that I went against what I would normally do and say, oh, I don't want to disrupt anything. I don't want to make anybody feel like they have to switch plans around for me, so I'll just do it. And I realized that I'm doing myself a disservice by that. And after that experience, I no longer am afraid to speak up, whether it's something that's affecting me or if it's affecting others. And that's why a pillar of More Than is social issues, because it's so important to me to speak up. Even if I'm not an expert on a topic, I would rather say something than stay silent any longer. And I think so many people get trapped in that they're worried about the criticism, or they're worried about cancel culture, or they don't understand what's going on. So instead of asking questions, they stay silent. And it's been a very freeing year for me, just being like, no, if something is wrong, if something doesn't sit well, whether it's affecting me or it's affecting my loved ones or it's affecting people I have never met, I refuse to stay silent. And it's been so freeing. And I just can't encourage you guys enough that we are put on this world to make an impact. And we can't make a true impact if we continue playing it safe all the time. If we continue worrying about how we'll be perceived by everybody else, we're doing ourselves a disservice. So it's so important to use your voice. I can't stress that enough. Something else that I've learned throughout this year is that it is okay to grow, to change, and to evolve. And in that process, you may outgrow people that you're surrounded by. You may outgrow circumstances that you're in. You may outgrow your profession to go to something else. And that's okay. I think so many of us almost get trapped in whether it's relationships or friendships or business partnerships or whatever it may be, because that's just the way things have always been. And we don't want to kind of rock the boat. And I've learned that it's okay if some friendships don't last past a season. Sometimes people are put in your life for a very specific purpose, and it's okay if they don't grow with you. That's not their fault, and it's not your job to make them grow alongside you. So sometimes you just kind of have to let go and focus on your own journey and hope that they focus on their own journey. And if your paths meet up again, great. If not, that's okay. I have so many friendships that I've had since I was in middle school that I'm still very close to those women, and they're people that are just ingrained in me. But there's a lot of other relationships that are very new in my life. And a lot of that is because I started focusing on who do I feel best when I'm around? Who makes me want to grow? Who challenges me in the way that I think and helps me see another perspective? Who is somebody that I can confide in? And who is somebody that can accept me for exactly the way I am? And it's okay if your circle is really tight. I have a tighter circle right now than I've ever had in my life. People that I am talking with daily that are really helping me grow and flourish and that love me and have always loved me. And there's a lot of friendships that I have that will go weeks, sometimes months without talking, and then pick up exactly where we left off. And that's okay. We all have our own journeys that we're going on. And just because you're not constantly in contact with somebody doesn't mean that they're not a friend. So I think it's important to see the difference. And it's also important to realize, who do you feel your best around and who is draining you? There's a lot of relationships, friendships, marriages, business partnerships that when you're around them, it sucks all the energy out of you. And you have to take note of that. I know it's difficult to distance yourself in some of those situations, but it is important to save your energy. You know, there's some people that are worth fighting with, fighting for, and there's some people that just aren't worth that energy, and that's okay. So that was an important thing for me to realize this year. And another thing that I've realized, especially through this pandemic, is that I have zero control over anything in my life. And that's okay. And I've never thought that was okay, because I've lived 26 years of my life thinking that if I could control things enough, then things would play out exactly like I wanted them to. And that's just a false reality. So I finally realized that through my faith, I can just let go of all of that control and know that I'm going to end up exactly where I'm supposed to end up. And I'll tell you, it's really nice not feeling like I have that control pit in my stomach that I need to try and manage everything and everyone around me. So if you're somebody like me and you're a perfectionist control freak, that's okay. I'm a recovering one, and it's a very great place to be. So I encourage you to just let go. Everything's going to play out exactly the way it should. And I also wish that I could tell the 21-year-old version of Jordan that it is okay to just let go and to follow your passions, to follow your instinct, and know that whatever you choose is right for you at that time. I think I was so scared that I was going to make the wrong step. And in doing that, I was playing a lot of things safe. And when I was 21 years old, I was surrounded by people that for the first time I realized didn't have my best interest in mind. And I have come to realize that that's my job, is to have my best interest in mind and to be able to tell the people that are around me what their purpose for being around me is. If there's somebody that you get a pit in your stomach around, or if there's a situation, or if there's a job opportunity, whatever it is, just take note of that, because that's your intuition, and your intuition is never wrong, especially females' intuition. It is never wrong. The last thing that I learned this year is that we are all capable of so much more than we think we are. I have been conceptualizing this podcast and this company for years. And it finally happened when I got very uncomfortable during quarantine, not realizing what I was supposed to do next and how modeling was going to go. And I finally had all the time to focus on this. And my own self-doubt would kick in so often, saying, you don't know anything about recording or making a podcast. Or what if you say too many times or stumble over your words, then you have to redo the whole thing. Or you don't know how to build a website. You don't know how to build a business. And finally, I had to shut that self-doubt off and say, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And I've realized how capable I am in the last 6 months, because everything that you see here has been a product of me learning and me surrounding myself around people that can teach me and that are better than me in so many different areas. And so it's been really fun, actually, to look for people and admire their talent and their insight and ask for help. I think so many of us think that we should just know how to do these things. And if we don't know, then we're not meant to do it. And it's so fun being able to say, hey, I don't know, but it looks like you do. Can you give me some tips? Can you teach me? What do you think? Can we brainstorm this together? And it's fun just being able to collaborate with other people instead of being trapped in your own damn mind. So I think it all brings me back full circle to mental health again. Stop being trapped in your own mind. Take control of your mental health. Focus on making yourself feel good. Learn what self-love means to you. And know that it's never too late for you. It's never too late for your goals. It's never too late to go after what you want. It's never too late to start over. There's this quote that says you're not starting over, you're starting over with experience. And I think that's so beautiful, because anybody at any age can benefit from that statement there. We put so much pressure on ourselves. And society puts this pressure on us and this standard of beauty, and they tell us to fit into this box. And I finally realized that the box that I was fitting in was far too small. I was passionate about so many things, and I couldn't just narrow it down to one thing. And that's why when you see More Than now, we're talking about mental health, health and wellness, body image and confidence, and social issues, because all of those 4 categories make up the multifaceted, multi-passionate women that you hear on this podcast, that you see on our website. And whoever you are listening right now, it's important that you realize how incredible and multidimensional you are. Take control of that. It's beautiful. You were never designed to fit into a standard, to fit into a mold, to fit into a box. You're supposed to break it. It can be uncomfortable when you break it, but that uncomfortability is going to lead to so much beauty. So just go for it. And the last thing I'll leave you guys with is life is too short not to have fun. So many of us are stressed out right now, and we have every reason to be stressed out. We don't know what's going on with this pandemic, about the election, about our jobs, about our families, about anything that 2020 and 2021 and 2022 is going to hold for us. But it's so important that you take the time to have fun. I've really tried to incorporate a morning routine because I know that I'm a person that I need the first hour of my day to be very routine in order for me to be successful. And a couple months ago, out of the blue, one day I started blasting country music as I was just getting in the shower and going around and cooking my breakfast. And my mood completely changed. And we ended up having so much fun having a dance party in the kitchen. My whole family got involved and everybody just saw their mood change. And I realized it's been months since I just let go and just danced around my kitchen like an idiot listening to music. And so now I'm regularly trying to incorporate that into my life because little pockets of fun is really important. Keep in touch with the people that you love. Keep in touch with the people that fill you up. Read more. Stay off social media or limit social media as much as you can. Turn off the news for a hot second and just focus on what it is that you want for this next year. I know I'm going into 27 with a whole new intention of what I want in my life. And it's been so fun seeing More Than take off over the last 6 months. We were just published in Modern Luxury Scottsdale. We've been featured on a couple different websites now, and we have so much coming your way. And I'm so proud of it. And I'm proud of me, and I'm proud of this community, and I'm proud that you just took 30 minutes out of your day to listen to this. I will never take for granted your time, and I just appreciate it so much. So let's continue just kicking ass this year. I hope some of these lessons related to you a little bit, and I'm excited to just continue growing with you guys. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your love. Don't forget that I have a huge gift for you guys with our partnership with Equilibria. Again, we will be giving one lucky winner a curated box of all of my favorite CBD goodies this Thursday, September 10th. So make sure you write a note for yourself right now to check into our social media. This Thursday, it's going down. We'll see you guys there.